Hey guys, today I'm going to talk about something a little bit different than computer stuff that I usually talk about, and that's a media format that would be, as you can see in front of me, these would be laser discs. And I don't know, it's weird. It seems that people that are kind of into retro computers and retro consoles and just old technology in general, they also seem to collect, like, you always see laser discs for some reason. You know, like, guy's got a bunch of, like, old computers from the 80s and stuff, and he also has got Laserdisc, and I don't know if it just goes hand in hand with, obsolete sort of technology, but I don't know. I like Laserdiscs. They're just kind of cool. For people that don't know, Laserdisc was a movie media format. I think it was developed in the late 70s, and it was kind of semi-popular all the way up through maybe, like, the late 90s. I don't think it really went away until probably the very early 2000s. In the United States, it was around, but I mean, it's weird. I knew it existed, but I don't ever remember growing up seeing one. I didn't know anyone that had a Laserdisc player. It almost felt like a rich person's kind of toy. I don't even remember seeing them in stores. But they were there. They're pretty common, actually. I found they're getting a little bit less common to bump into, in the wild. But I find players fairly often at Goodwill. Not as much as I used to. I find laser discs at places like thrift stores and Goodwill all the time. Craigslist, so they're available. They're not rare by any stretch of the imagination. It's just when they were in their prime in the 90s, I don't really remember them being around, which is kind of weird. They were pretty much the competitor to VHS. Better audio quality, better video quality. Not by a ton, but it's there. They even have a couple advantages maybe over DVD, at least the early DVD players. Blu-ray, though, it kind of gets to a point, where it just becomes kind of a matter of personal opinion. People that would, there's people that prefer vinyl over, MP3s or CDs, and you could say the same thing about laser discs. A lot of people say they have more of a film quality when you watch them. They're not too sharp. There's some, like I said, the resolution, I believe the picture and the audio is better than VHS. Another advantage, there are some movies that came out on Laserdisc, and usually VHS and Laserdisc, where Laserdisc would be the superior version, but they never ever were released on, say, Blu-ray or DVD. That number is getting smaller as time goes by, but there's, I think, The Keep, which is kind of a cool 80s sort of horror movie. That never, as far as I know, that still hasn't come out on DVD or Blu-ray. So the best version of that would be Laserdisc. I believe there's still more, but some people still like the audio better. They're a little bit more resilient, I believe, than DVDs, as in, if you get a damaged spot on a Laserdisc player will kind of skip it and keep going, where some DVDs, at least the early ones, it would stop. You've got more control over them, per se. Like if you've got a Laserdisc or a DVD, I think even some Blu-rays, they'll be like intros, and you just want to skip it, and then that little stupid little Ghostbuster like no symbol comes up. That it's kind of really annoying. But Laserdisc doesn't have that, so you kind of have more control. You can skip around. Some of it just comes down to the art. I mean, they're just cool. I mean, they're almost like little works of art, because they're these things, they're about the same as album, like vinyl covers. A lot of times you can find these at thrift stores mixed in with the vinyls, because people just have no idea. And they're just cool. There's a lot of, some of them have special features that maybe were never transferred over to Blu-ray or DVD. So sometimes if you have the Laserdisc version, you'll get like special features that weren't necessarily in later versions. But yeah, there's all kind of cool. Like, look, it opens up. You got lots of neat artwork, and does the chapters. Laserdisc itself, hold on, bear with me, I'm doing this with one hand here because I decided to not use the tripod. Alright, so there's the Laserdisc itself. It's kind of huge. To give you some kind of idea, this is a DVD. Well, it is a DVD, it's for a PlayStation 2, but it's a DVD. So you could see the size difference here. Huge size difference. Alright, let me put this away. Alright, so here I just have a few, like this is kind of the standard where you can open it up. A lot of these came on multiple discs. The thing, they didn't have the recording time really on them as like VHS had. I remember seeing like some really long movies like Cleopatra that were 2 or 3 VHS tapes, and I was like, wow, but almost any Laserdisc, even the standard length, it might be one disc, but it's always two-sided. So that's kind of a downside too. It's kind of annoying. You had it midway through the movie, you'd have to open the machine and flip the disc. Some of the better players have an auto flip feature where you don't have to get up. When it reaches one side of the disc, the laser will rotate inside and it will automatically play the other side, but it's not instantaneous. So you get to the end of the disc and your screen will go black or blue in the middle of the movie, and then it will say like switching to side 2, and then you hear it. It takes sometimes, it's not a fast process, so it does interrupt the middle of a movie. It's kind of like an intermission. I guess you could go get a snack, like a movie or something, but yeah, that's kind of annoying. Try to get, if you do look for players, I try to go for the ones that do have the auto flip feature, although when you get to bigger movies, it's like Jurassic Park is like 6 discs or something. It's ridiculous. I think there was one commercial player they made that you could put 2 discs in at once, but even that, I mean, I've never even seen that player. It's super rare. But yeah, and then, there's ones like this is Aliens. A lot of these are what you can get a lot of widescreen director's cut, but this one's kind of like a box. It opens up. You've got your laser disc. See, this one's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 discs in here. So, well, not 8 discs, but 8 different sides. So that's kind of crazy. That's a standard length. I don't know why. I mean, Indiana Jones is just on 1 disc. I think it's quality. You can get better options in quality and, special features and audio options and stuff, which takes up more discs. Here's RoboCop. This is the Criterion collection. These are really high quality releases. The Criterion collection are always known for being the best. They try to find the best prints of the movies. So these are the real high quality ones you want to look for. I found this. I've been looking for this, the RoboCop, the Criterion version of RoboCop for a long time. I just found it at Goodwill for like $3. Then there's imports. There's no lockout. So if you want to watch like Japanese anime and stuff, Laserdisc is actually really convenient for that because it's a pretty good quality picture, and any Laserdisc player will play pretty much any Laserdisc. So PAL's versions from Europe might be different, but for Japanese, there's no region locking. So go ahead and import your Godzilla movies. Alright, so here's my player down here. I have it hooked up to my PVM, so it's nice to watch some movies, going to sleep sometimes. Pioneer, those are really the best Laserdisc players to go for. They came up with the Laserdisc format. They're also the most common. Some of the later ones will play CDs and have multiple music CD changers. This is a later one, and it is also a DVD player. So there were some combo Laserdisc DVD players near the end. Generally, people tell you to go for the standalone Laserdisc player, kind of a jack of all trades, master of none sort of thing. And in general, from what I'm able to gather, the standalone Laserdisc players are superior to the combo players. But a combo player is probably going to be superior to like a low entry level standalone Laserdisc player. I had a pretty entry level player from the mid 90s. It was a Pioneer, but it was pretty low level, entry level, and I actually replaced it with this because I think the quality was better. The thing with Laserdisc players that you don't worry about too much with DVD players is the player itself does affect the quality of the movie. So a higher quality player, the movie will look better. But with DVD, that's a little bit different because I think it's all digital. So, a $20 DVD player from Walmart's going to play a movie that's, you know, if they have the same input or outputs on the back, they're going to look pretty much the same. The cheap one might break down and fall apart quicker, but if they're both playing the movie, the picture is pretty much going to be the same. Maybe with less options, but with Laserdiscs, it's different. You want a good player. The best players, unfortunately, only came out in Japan, so once again, over here in North America, we kind of got screwed, but yeah, this player, I like it. It's a DVL 909. It has component, composite, and S-video on the back. The problem is component only outputs with a DVD. For whatever reason, it doesn't work with Laserdisc, but the S-video works. Whereas my old player only had composite outputs. This is also, that's the Laserdisc symbol there. And this is a both sides one, so it will auto flip. It auto flips the Laserdisc. So, I don't think it has any other. A lot of the better players will have like a round knob here where you can kind of go frame by frame with this. It's kind of, I don't know what the terminology is, but it's like a round knob. Usually players with those are pretty good quality. So let me just. I like this one because it's a Laserdisc player, but it's kind of modern-y. It kind of has this blue LED light, which is kind of cool. I don't know. I like that better than the standard boring little red. I don't know. It looks a little bit more modern. Let me just turn this on. Watch. The other problem with these though is the motors in them. They tend to die easier than say a DVD player or CD player because Laserdiscs are so big. That means they're heavier. There's more mass to them, so the motor has to work harder to spin them. So the motors do tend to break down on these more, and you know, I don't know anyone that repairs Laserdisc players. I don't. So that's kind of always a fear. It's almost like you don't want to use them too much. I know people that collect Laserdisc, and they'll collect players just because when one player breaks down, they'll just go to their garage and just pull out the next one. They're usually cheap enough at Goodwill, but like I said, I don't see them as much as I used to. So just eject the tray. Takes a second. They're not the fastest. Yeah, see, it's huge. And there's different, like there's a smaller one. You could put DVDs. There were also a couple, later on, I believe they came out with a smaller version of Laserdisc, which is the same thing, it's just smaller. I've never actually seen one of those two. They may be called CAV or something. I think I'm going to put this in, I think starting on side 2, so it'll start like right into the movie. So, let me see. So there it goes. I gotta set my thing for S video. There we go. I think. Oh, play? Yeah, here we go. So, I don't know if you can hear it. No, it went in on side 1, I think. But, yeah, okay, so on my player there's this little button here too that you can switch at any time between sides A and B, so I'll just give you an idea how long it takes for the laser to rotate around. So I'll switch to side B. So I don't know if you can hear it in there, but I believe the laser is flipping sides, and then no, that wasn't too bad. That wasn't too bad, actually. That was actually faster than I remember. So I haven't really watched a movie in a while. But
hey, what happened? Some moron brought a cougar to a party.
So yeah, a lot of people say it has a better, film-like quality to it, but.
Right, I'm going to stay in a barracks.
So let me just stop it here. All right, see, you can freeze frames too, really easy with the pause button. You can just, you could actually even go frame by frame. I'm not, because I'm like manually hitting a button here, but So that's the Laserdisc player. Kind of a neat, forgotten format for movies. It's really neat. I really would advise if you ever see one cheap, just pick one up. They're pretty cool. And thanks for watching.